Good evening, everyone, and welcome once again to the Top Splits live and exclusive coverage of this week's episode, round two, season 13 of the Monday Night Lights. The music's back, folk. The Monday Night Lights theme song is back. Thank you for the massive effort during the week of one Mr. Les Peck, one of our local faithful regulars and Skippy community member who put that together on very short notice this week. Thanks again, Les. That was awesome, mate. Fantastic work. Tonight, as I said, we're here for round two, I beg your pardon, of the Monday Night Lights. And joining me in commentary is, I'm Alex McKellar, your host, and joining me once again in commentary is, for the first time this season, Mr. Tim Awima, aka the Golden Stick. Tim, welcome aboard for season 13.
It's good to be here, and it's good to be in the new broadcasting commentary box, and I'm really looking forward to tonight's racing, even though I've had some minor technical difficulties getting my keyboard to work tonight. But hopefully we can load up the qualification session very soon.
Oh, beautiful. All right, so I'll just let everyone know if I'll get some sound going here. We've got the guys out on track. We've got a great field lined up here once again. If I just check my stats, second highest field of the week, just a tick under 4,000 strength of field, folk. For those of you watching at home, and welcome aboard to those, I can see already the chat filling up with folks here to watch this great event. Strength of field is roughly the average skill rating of the drivers who turn up to race. The higher the strength of field, the more points that are on offer, the more skill points that are on offer as well. And of course, the ever-present Monday Night Lights points are on offer as well. So tonight we've got a great looking field, just a tick under 4,000 as I mentioned. I've just got camera on Enzo Cantor at the moment. Enzo, 3 times Monday Night Lights season winner, and the same I think with the official Skippy season. So it's great to see him back. And of course Luke Witten also on track tonight. He's an ANZ regular, really strong performer on the ANZ scene and the global scene, and I know he's updated to the Oculus Rift, so he'll be riding in VR tonight. This might even be his first MNL. I can't remember if he was back last week or not with the Oculus Rift virtual reality there, Tim.
Yeah, look, it'd be good to see him in that do really well tonight. Unfortunately, just on my end, I'm having a little bit of technical difficulty with my keyboard, which is the oddest thing. I was struggling to get it to operate tonight, so I can't flick between the drivers at the moment. I'm on the session, but just struggling a little bit. I'm gonna have to duck away and go through the top split cupboard and go and find myself some more batteries.
Yeah, plenty out the back, mate. Third shelf on the left. Help yourself, no problems. All right, folks.
Thank you.
No worries. We'll soldier on. Also, great tonight to see sporting the new Geodesic team racing livery here is one Dennis Johansson. Very, very strong driver here. He's only ranked number 2 out on track here tonight. Of course, guys sporting their seeded numbers, so the higher the skill rating that you have, or the I rating as it's known, the lower the number you are seeded with and appears on your car. Also, number 1 driver here, to the brightly clad in blue and orange, Mr. Tim Hendrickson, all the way from the Netherlands, out to put on a strong performance here tonight. He comes gratefully or thankfully to this event most weeks when he can. I know he studies a lot, but he's on obviously a different time schedule to us down here, but it's great to see him back. Ian Bevan looks like he's finished his laps there. Daryl Ridley, he's joining us once again. Car plate number 16, just sneaking in. I know he's quicker than that. The question is, can he stay on track enough to score some good points both for himself in terms of Monday Night Lights and for the official season? There's plenty on offer. Just quickly seeing where things are at the moment. Provisionally, we've got Enzo Cantor on pole. Great to see Enzo back for the first time this season. He's with just the 2:20 to go in qualification. He's sitting there in P1. Dennis Johansson in P2. It looks like Daryl might have finished his run. Oh, and joining us again, once again, previous season's champion is Bill Fraser. He's currently, I don't think, set a time. Oh yeah, he's down all the way down in 8th position. Maybe we'll follow this lap. He might be on a hot one here. Not that one. Let's try that one. That'd be a bit better. Let's see how he goes against Enzo. Bill Fraser's been setting the world on fire in the last season or so. First time I've seen him lose a race was last week. He finished second behind our current series leader, who we'll have a look at in a moment. And just as Bill comes up the Andretti Straight here, in the way through this challenging final 3 turns of 8, 9 and White's corner to finish at turn 10. Through 8 now, the rear hanging out as we've often seen Bill do in the last season or so. Through turn 9 now, coming around to finish his lap. How will he fare up against the current provisional pole sitter in Enzo Canter from Italy? Crossing the line now. He just missed out, but he has in fact jumped up to P2. Now, speaking of P2, while Tim's getting organised, let's just run through the grid, folks, because we don't have a lot of time. Enzo Canter, as we said, in P1. Bill Fraser snatching P2 in the last second gasp. Dennis Johansson, he'll be one to watch tonight in P3. Saw him in the previous race, lightning fast. Tony Vallejo Calabo back once again from Iberia in P4. Tim Hendrickson, surprisingly, all the way down in P5. Look for Tim to be a hard charger as well. First of the ANZ club is Ben Snell. Look for him to be on pace tonight. There's a bit of action follows Ben from time to time, so I'm interested to see where he finishes up. Followed by another local boy in Luke Witten trying out the VR, as we said. James Mead in P8 from ANZ. My memory serves, James won this event last week. Ian Bevan in P9 from New Zealand. Looking forward for a strong performance for Ian tonight. Borja Valera Casal, who we saw do very well in the last race, in P10. P11, Kevin Henderson, stalwart of the club. Darryl Ridley, likewise, in P12. P13, Håkon Grebstad, surprisingly a long way down the field, with one of his mates from last race, Russell Clark, in P14. P15, Michael Dallavale from Benelux. P16, John Scholz, who has been setting the world on fire lately, all the way down in P16 tonight. And I think that might just about round out our grid. Almost in time for them to kick off. Tim, are you with us?
I am back. I found some ever-ready golds and we're good to go. We've got the keyboard working. We can flick between the drivers and I'm looking forward to a fantastic race now. Really pumped, really excited, and good to see my mate Bill up there in second position.
Yeah, I think he's in P2. I beg your pardon. I'm just looking at the wrong thing. He's done well. He got pipped for the top honours last week for the first time that we've seen. And as the lights come on now, it'll be interesting to see how he shapes up this week and what he can do with Enzo in front of him. Revs are rising intensely as the red light comes on. Green lights, and they are away on this race down into this interesting flowing circuit at turn 1. Not much on offer for overtaking at turn 1. You're really looking towards the key overtaking point at the end of the main Andretti Straight. But let's see what these folks can do through here. High quality of field. Wouldn't expect a bit of running wide at the rear there. But other than that, everyone seemed to be getting away cleanly, Tim.
Yeah, it looks to be a good start. Oh no, we've had a pile up around the back there. It looks like we've lost a position, probably 10, 11, 12 around that mark. Probably need to go back and have a look.
Yeah, just grabbing it now, mate. I was just to say how clearly everyone was going. And then through turn 1, we see Håkon Grebstad on the tail of Kevin Henderson there. Håkon poking his nose up the inside. Kevin running a little wide. Very dangerous out there. Håkon just gives Kevin a little touch in the rear there. And in behind, I think that's Darryl Ridley running up behind, and Russell Clark getting caught in behind, and they've all just catapulted Håkon in to the wall and over the barriers. And that's a number of races over there at turn 2 tonight, Tim.
Yeah, what a shame for so early in this race. And look, that is a very tough corner its own right. But yeah, we've lost potentially 4 cars there. Some will need a fast repair, but look, the racing's up at the front at the moment. We've got a nice train of cars as we lead up through the S's into White's corner. So looking for a good first lap at the moment with the front runners, and just trying to see now. It looks like Bill Fraser's just taken the lead as we go over the start-finish line.
Absolutely, he has. He's leading from the front, as it were. Enzo Canter tucked in behind, although I'm really fascinated to see how Bill and Enzo match up tonight. It's a nice flowing circuit, really just the one draft to past opportunity, unless there are mistakes made as they head down the hill now towards Quebec Corner. Challenging corners as they might be, it's a lot of nose-to-tail stuff. The draft is well and truly good enough to keep people who might not otherwise be competitive in this sort of field in touch, and so also equally tough to break away. So we saw Bill Fraser there get quite a tidy run and a little bit of a gap through the first couple of corners, but now you see as they go through this challenging double right-hander of Moss hairpin here, out the back, Enzo tucked right up behind, and now we've got this long snaking train of cars all the way back to, where are we looking at here, all the way back to, what's that, P10 in James Mead, who from memory took out last week's race, and this week down in P10. You see what he can do from there, Tim.
Oh, it's very interesting as we're coming up towards the S's. I thought we were going to go 3 wide leading into the S's, but no, it looks like that they've all sorted themselves out. Bill's just tucked in behind Enzo as we come around White's Corner leading into the straight, but still a nice pack of 5 cars leading the way there back at oh no, we've got 7 cars. Yeah, this is going to be a very close battle tonight. I think the top 5 or 6 are going to lead it right down to that last corner of the last lap.
Well, that's right, mate. We're back to James Mead, all the way back down to James Mead in P10, literally within that long draft train. Interesting to see how long these guys can last in that, but I tell you what, it's a hot field up the front. Once again, Bill Fraser letting the rear of the car do some talking and some walking as they went around Quebec Corner there, coming through, excuse me, through turn 4 down into this interesting corner named after Sterling Moss, who suggested it. Oh, Bill up the inside, pokes the nose there. It's interesting, people take different lines through there and it can make for some fascinating racing, which is what Sterling Moss was hoping for when he suggested they turn that into a double apex hairpin, put the crowd on the outside and see what the drivers can put on for a show. And I tell you what, they're doing that already, Tim.
What amazing. That corner, it really sorts out the drivers. As you're right, there's so many different ways to take it. The drivers will take it different ways, but it leaves for some nose-to-tail driving, and I'm on board with Tim Hendricks at the moment. He's battling away with looks like Dennis Johansson, and that seems to be quite a battle. Tim's really driving hard. It looks like he's going to take the inside line as we come up to turn 1. No, he's just going to back in and just sit behind Dennis as we go through for another lap.
Yeah, look, that's a bit of good race tactics there, because if they go too wide through there, they potentially lose Enzo and Bill Fraser up front, who themselves went too wide through there, but they have almost, no, they're only half a second, 6/10 in front, so this draft train well and truly still in play, but these front two really looking to try as hard as they can to get a breakaway. Those who said very, very difficult to do here, particularly in this quality of field. You can see the likes of Luke Whitten all the way down in P7, but still well and truly in the hunt with Ben Snell just in front of him, and Ian Bevan, who, as we mentioned last week, has had a long hiatus from the Skippy series. He's back, but pleased to see, I beg your pardon, I'm pleased to see he's in this front pack and having a good crack at it after his early exit in turn 2, I think it was last week, and an unfortunate incident this week. Looking to really settle in and see what he can make of it, Tim.
Yeah, no, it's good to see Ian back there, and he's looks like he's trying to make a move on Ben Snell. Sorry if I got the wrong cockpit there. Yes, I have, unfortunately. He's sitting in behind Luke Whitten and Ben Snell, who are both starting to let the rear lose a little bit of control as we go into the S's. It seems to be the order of the day just to let that car slide around as we go for some tight battle racing. But it's good to see that now the pack is, we're down to, just having a look now, James Mead still just hanging on the back of that train and really close racing as we go in now to lap 5.
Oh, Ben Snell taking the defensive line from Luke Whitten there through turn 2. You've got to be careful. You don't get sped out to the right there of turn 2, Clayton Corner as it's known, because out there in iRacing it's all grass. In the real circuit, speaking of letting it all hang out, is that Ian Bevan? No, I think it was Luke Whitten taking full advantage of the view from his cockpit and his virtual reality, and letting the rear hang all sorts of sideways there. He's managed to drop down to P10, which has really cost both James Mead and Borja Valera Casal in front of him. Oh, and he's capped it off by giving Borja a little touch and then spinning out for good measure himself. Oh, then Borja's re-entered and taken out a couple more. Scolty will not be happy with that. We better grab a look at this again, folks. That was action upon action as we ride on board now with Borja, and we see as they come into this tight right-hander hairpin, as we say, oh, and it's actually the 6 car of Luke Whitten, as we said, who's turned Borja, and then he's been flipped by the rear suspension. If we stay on board with Borja now, he's punched it right in front of oncoming traffic. And I tell you what, Mr. John Scholz nor Mr. Michael Dallavale will be thanking or sending Christmas cards to young Borja after that little effort, Tim.
Yeah, that's an unbelievable incident, and yeah, not the sort of driving that we should expect from these top-class drivers with that sort of re-entry. But as we move back up to the front of the pack and get on board, I'm sitting around Tim Hendrickson at the moment, and he's really still battling away with Dennis Johansson, then Bill Fraser, and up to Enzo, who's just got a little bit of a gap over Bill at the moment, but nothing to break away from the draft as they head down into Moss Corner.
Yeah, I tell you what, that first couple of quarters, there were cars half sideways, cars half up beside each other, and yet everyone comes through unscathed. Not even some scratches to buff out at the end of the race. Really high standard of driving, and not even letting Enzo get away. Just the 5/10 he's got on Bill Fraser, who managed to hang on to P2 ahead of the likes of Hendrickson and Johansson, who are really pushing hard tonight, Tim.
Yeah, definitely are. And look, as we head into the S's now and to complete another lap and go into White's Corner, there is just close battles here. Dennis is just hanging off the back of Bill Fraser there, it looks like, and you know, we go through for another lap. They'll just hold their positions for another start-finish cross there. But as we start heading into these bigger laps, if Enzo and Bill Fraser could just work together, they really could have a little breakaway pack.
Yeah, thanks for the reminder, folks. I've put the ticker back up there after the replays. But yeah, there's plenty of action going up on front. It's great to have people at home join us. Look at Bill Fraser once again, nose first, rear out as they head through Quebec now on the start of lap 7 of 16. Interesting, I was checking before, it's about 63 kilometres total distance here tonight. A little bit longer than your usual Skippy race, which runs for about 50 k's usually, but it just means that accentuates the fast-flowing nature of this track in these cars. A lot of full throttle action here, a lot of fast-flowing corners here, and also a lot of draft trains by the looks. As now we're not 10 deep anymore. We're only the 7 deep with Ian Bevan avoiding that earlier incident with Luke Whitten and Borja, and now on the back of this train of 7. I tell you what, Tim, I don't know about you, but this is an interesting and challenging period of the race if you're in this sort of pack. You see the front guys 3 wide now as they come through the S's, start of the S's at turn 8 at the end of the Andretti Straight. I'd say Bill Fraser managed to hold incredible speed through there, right up beside him. Now, Dennis Johansson in that geodesic livery, he's sporting tonight with Enzo now. Up the inside is Tim Hendrickson up the inside of Canada, looking to push his way forward. And I tell you, these guys are not holding back. Dennis Johansson now looks to be sporting a bit of damage on his rear spoiler. Don't know if any of the suspension damage will coincide with that. But certainly a challenging night ahead now for Dennis with carrying that little bit of damage there, Tim.
Yeah, it was a shame just to see that in White's Corner. They just had a little bit of coming together. Poor Dennis and Enzo there. But look, it was a tough battle as they went into White's Corner as they came onto the start-finish. But it's actually this little bit of a battle. It's actually then just broken up the pack a little bit. I mean, obviously with the draft, they'll come back into that. But now it's a Dennis Johansson and Bill Fraser 1-2 as we head through Moss Corner, up into Mario Andretti straightaway. and seems to be a really, really good battle. But I do think that if Tim Hendrickson just doesn't quite overtake Enzo here, they might be able to hold on to the pack. But I think Tim's looking for the position.
Yeah, well, they're 8 tenths behind at this stage, but the two in front are also going side by side with Enzo and Dennis. Interesting to see what Dennis does here with that damage. Does he want to be in front and defend? At this stage, it looks like he does. But look, as I was trying to say before, that action kicked in for another lap as they come through the final corner on the tail end of lap 8. You know, when you see, oh, we've lost one. Who have we lost there? That's Tony Vallejo Calabo. I think, let's see if he had any help there or whether it was all on his own as they approach the final corner there. He's got Ian Bevan on the inside run for the final corner. So we just slow down there. No, it looks like he's grabbed a bit of brake late and the rear stepped out. Ian's had to back out of it. But he's also, I think, got through cleanly. That will have cost him the front pack, most certainly, but not ended his night. Self spin there for Tony. Bad luck to him, and looks like his night at the front's over there, Tim.
Yeah, bit of a shame that, and yeah, with all this close racing tonight, you know, the being very, oh, geez, as I talk about close driving, and we're going too wide into Moss corner, so it just shows how competitive this racing is tonight. And look, that slight little, you know, mishap that he's had on that corner back there, and that ends his night.
Oh, mate, Noah's Ark through Moss there, 2x2. Not only did they get through there successfully, but they were racing the whole way. Now we've always got 5 wide. Now we've got 4. I don't think you fit 5 wide up the Andretti Straight there, but these guys are going to do it if they possibly can. 2x2 again through turn 8. They're coming through the final S section now into White's corner. It's still 2x2. They're lining up to go 2 abreast here through the final corner. Dennis Johansson riding that very difficult inside curbing there as Bill Fraser running wide again. They've almost done the whole lap 2x2, Tim. I don't know if I can take it anymore.
Oh, no, I can't. And when Bill was on the grass there, I thought any normal person driving would have re-entered straight into Enzo there. But that control that he has as he comes back off the grass is absolutely amazing. And this just shows how good these drivers are and how they can work together. Like if I've driven in these Skip Barbers, oh, and it looks like we have just lost Enzo on the grass. But when these guys are so close, I get really worried, you know, when I'm looking at a car in the rear vision mirror like they have. And I've never seen such close driving and really good sportsmanship to keep it clean.
Oh, I'll tell you what, Enzo, his heart would have been in his mouth there. He's done really well to keep that off, not only off the wall, but not to lose the front pack. But again, this conundrum that I've been trying to get out for the last few laps is that what do you do in this pack? Do you risk trying to advance and cost yourself time, but also cost yourself the lead pack potentially as a result? These guys are putting it all on the line here, going for any position. Dennis Johansson jumping up the inside or showing the nose up the inside of turn 8 now. Really not getting it done there. I don't know if that damage is holding him back or perhaps he just didn't have the run as we see Bill Fraser come through the final corner on the tail end of lap 10. Just the balance of 6 laps now remaining as they cross the line. Still, they are 6 deep back to Ian Bevan, who even after that accident, with all the 2x2 action, he's fought his way back in P6 onto the back of this pack. Fantastic driving from Ian here in his return season, Tim.
Oh, yeah, unbelievable driving tonight. And it's really good to see Ian just sitting on the back there. I don't know if he has the pace to keep up with the guys tonight unless they cause their own grief, which looks like they're slow. Oh, yes, they have. It was bound to happen. Ian's just found 2 positions there. Looks like Enzo and Ben Snell have just come to grief.
All right, let's just see what we can find on the replay here. We got Ben Snell coming down into Quebec corner here. Enzo looking up the inside of Ben. Looks like Enzo's hit the curb and on the exit. Have they made contact? Yeah, they made contact on exit. I've got to tell you, I think there was enough room there. Enzo collecting the curbing on the way through, probably spat him out into Ben, just from what I can see from there. But No doubt we'll hear more about that after the race in the interviews there. Jumping back up to the front, Mr. Hendrickson firmly in a battle with Dennis Johansson and Bill Fraser now. This battle pack of three. I tell you, Ian Bevan sitting pretty in fourth, avoiding all the carnage here tonight, looking to bag himself a hat full of points. Tim Hendrickson running wide there on the end of the lap 11. Just the 5 now remaining as they head through turn 1 now on the start of lap 12, and this really looks to have shaved down to a battle pack of 3. It'll be fascinating to see if both Ian Bevan can claw his way back onto this group, but I'd suggest that with the pace in front of him now and just those 5 laps remaining, these 3 might settle down to a battle pack for the podium, with Ben Snell managing to hang on after that incident with Enzo to Ian Bevan, and they might be fighting out for the remainder of the top 5 there, Tim.
Oh, yeah, look, I was going to make a call on who might be able to win this race, but it could. Oh, I'm thinking it might be a Bradbury. I'm really thinking that the top 3 are going to get very competitive into the last lot of corners. Ian Bevan could drive home with this on a podium finish. I don't know if he's going to win the race, but he might end up with a podium. We've got very competitive racing as we start going up the Mario Andretti straight away for what is now lap 12, and looking to be a very exciting race with the top 3.
Yeah, you're right there, Tim. Interesting. Ian Bevan was just sort of scratching draft range before that straight, but the draft is so strong here as we see Bill Fraser now jump back into the top spot provisionally with Tim Hendrickson now settling for 3rd. He lost 2/10, Ian Bevan, on that Mario Andretti straight as the guys come around for the tail end of lap 12 now through the final corner of this leading pack, but he managed to get a single 10th back, or even 2. He's got all that time back there through the twisty bits while the front 3 sorted themselves out. Ben Snell just sitting in behind Ian now. He seems to have, well, he's just got a bit of draft there from Ian. He might, but I doubt, potentially be able to catch on to the back of Ian there to finish it out. And James Mead, who we saw all the way back in P10, now just trundling around just out of draft range and unable to hang on to that front pack. Jumping all the way back now to a battle for 9th and 10th now. Guys caught up in that earlier incident with Russell Clark and John Scholz. Unfortunately, we saw that lap 1 incident there that sent them all flying, well, Håkon Grebstad in particular, flying off into the distance. These guys are battling it out down here in P9 and 10 with the rest of the field pretty much spread out. So I might just jump back up to our lead 3, which is where all the action, all race has been anyway. These 3, Tim Henderson, interesting, popping out of draft range, perhaps wanting to extend their gap over Ian Bevan in P3, who is now out to 1.5 seconds. And contrary to my estimations, Ben Snell has been able to catch back up and sit in a battle pack of 2 for the final top 4 and 5 positions there, Tim.
Yeah, interesting move by Tim Hendrickson there. I don't know if he either was concerned about the draft, concerned about the temperatures of the car, but just did move out. And it didn't affect him at all as they came up into the S's. It seemed to suit him quite well as he got quite a good run as they headed into White's corner and completed another lap. He comfortably sits in 3rd position, as you said. And look, we've got Ian Bevan and Ben Snell behind that, which will make a battle pack of their own, and if they could work together, try and get back up to the top 3, but I doubt that'll happen. I think what we're seeing is the podium and really sort itself out now, and it's just going to be a battle for these 3 up the front.
Yeah, I've been really pleasantly surprised with the pace of Ian Bevan and Ben Snell tonight in the context of the strength of this field and the battling going on front. Ian's done a remarkable job to both avoid trouble and also keep in touch with the leaders. Really, really impressed. But I think with just the balance of 3 laps remain, just under 2.5 as they head up the Andretti straight now on the tail end of lap 14, he's got his work cut out to get back on, as he's now about 1.6 seconds behind with side-by-side action up front between Fraser and Johansson, with Tim Hendrickson thinking that discretion is perhaps the better part of valour at this point, and sitting in behind, perhaps saving his efforts for the final lap or so of this race, Tim.
Yeah, it's interesting as I watch him come up the back of the Mario Andretti straight into the S's. He seems to get a better drive into the S's over Dennis, who struggled a little bit there. Was really hanging the car out sideways, and Bill just had some clean driving and took off a little bit in the first position. But I think Tim Hendrickson just might be sitting in third, looking at their lines, looking at the racing line, and see how he can really make that last couple of corners work in his favour.
Yeah, that's it, mate. I think as we see Henriksen tucked right up behind Johansson as they head through Quebec now on lap 15. It's just the second to last lap now. Johansson had the rear of that car all over the place, and I'm wondering if that the telltale signs of the bent wing on the back there is really starting to indicate that he's got some handling troubles with that car. And what an even more impressive drive is, if that turns out to be the case, is again Hendrickson right up the back of Johansson there as they go through Moss on lap 15, as we set up the Andretti straight now. Johansson just behind Fraser here by 0.6 of a second, with Hendrickson right up behind him. Interested to see if Hendrickson makes his move this time. He's pulled out to the outside of the track here, losing the draft that he would have been getting from Johansson there. Bill Fraser coming across to cover the line. See Johansson up the inside there once again through turn 8. 2 by 2 here. Is this the chance that Fraser needs? 2 by 2 again. Hendrickson makes it stick up the inside of turn 9. Going through 10 now at White's corner and makes that position stick. He has been biding his time pretty patiently, although it's coming across now for the last lap. This is where we see it won and lost. And 2 by 2 they go through turn 1 here. Still not losing the draft of Bill Fraser. These guys putting on a fantastic show tonight, Tim.
Oh, it's unbelievable. And I was watching the interlocked wheels there of Dennis Johansson and Tim Hendrickson. Any normal netco would have got them, but tonight seems to be amazing racing, and they seem to be doing quite well. And I think, as I said, Tim Hendrickson just sitting perfectly to where he wanted to be as we lead up into this lap.
Yeah, well, that's it. These two jockeying for position here. See who can get Bill Fraser's draft for this final run up the Andretti straight as they head through Moss now. But the problem that they've got is that they want to get that draft for sure, but they've battled so hard they might be too far back. They're 6/10 back. My money's on Fraser to take it out from here, and these two to jockey for the minor positions on the podium. They've battled so hard amongst themselves to see who get that draft, which of course is the ideal position, as we see Johansson pull out to make it 2 by 2 here. And again, Fraser coming across to the left-hand side of the track. I don't think they're going to make it 3 wide, and Fraser covers the line. Hendrickson equally covering the inside line, and Johansson forced to sit in behind. Can he challenge again through this final series of corners, or will Hendrickson defend? It looks like Bill Fraser's going to take round 2 out. Hendrickson grabbing on and holding on tight for P2, and Johansson bringing home that damaged car for P3. What a race, Tim.
Absolutely amazing race. And what was a little bit of a shame, and we didn't catch that on lap 15 as we led into lap 16. It looks like we lost Ben Snell, who was fighting with Ian Bevan for the 5th position, but he's now down in 13th position, so that was a bit of a shame.
Yeah, we might try and catch a replay of that towards the end, or hopefully Ben might come up and see us for a chat after the race. But I tell you what, Tim, really impressed with the standard of driving here tonight. There were some racing incidents, yes. Only one retirement, that of Enzo Cantor, who we lost, of course, going through Quebec corner in the middle to latter stages of the race, coming in contact with Ben Snell in an unfortunate incident there. We had the big incident at the start, but again, you know, nothing other than racing incidents from what I saw tonight. Unfortunate, and there'll be plenty of guys who are disappointed on their finish tonight. Not the least of which who we're on board with at the moment is Håkon Grebstad, who finished 2nd overall in the Monday Night Lights season last season, looking to make it better. Take it one step higher this season, but tonight certainly not going his way in P12 here as he rounds out his lap, still on the lead lap, but he was certainly flipped and flying rather than driving tonight on that one, but certainly not a race he'd like to remember. And Kevin Henderson, who's parked it now at the end of his race tonight, also up in that lead pack, but not finishing perhaps where he wanted to. Speaking of finishing, folks, why don't we grab a look at the results for tonight. Round 2 from Canadian Tire Motorsports Park, We have finishing first tonight, once again, the familiar story in the last season a bit, Bill Fraser. Fantastic drive from Bill tonight. Showed us plenty of car control and quite a cool head under pressure, it has to be said. He's done a fantastic job to take out round 2 of the Monday Night Lights for season 13. In P2, Tim Hendrickson finishing ahead and hard fought ahead in front of Dennis Johansson. Those 3 guys up front ended up putting up the show end to end tonight when others fell away. Ian Bevan, masterful drive I thought from Ian tonight. Probably took out my drive of the night if I'm honest, because he kept a cool head under fire similar to Bill Fraser, but there was plenty going on around him, and whilst others fell away, he plugged away and really put on a stellar performance to stay in touch with that lead pack. James Mead, after being in the hunt early, has managed to hang on to a top 5 finish. Congratulations to him. Michael Delavallee, who got caught up in an incident at Moss, if I'm not mistaken, hanging on for P6 from Benelux. Tony Vallejo Calabo from Iberia in P7. Russell Clark doing very well to finish well inside the points and the top 10 tonight after that lap 1 incident in P8. John Scholz equally after getting caught up in a very unfortunate incident, not of his making at Moss, finishing in P9 and grabbing some points along with it. Luke Whitten equally doing well to grab some Monday Night Light points and round out your top 10 for the evening. Borja Valero Casal off a few Christmas card lists tonight in P11. Ben Snell finishing in P12, and hopefully we might duck back and see if we can grab a replay of what cost him that top 5 finish in the end. Hawken Grebstead, of course, we saw flipping into next week in P13. Kevin Henderson, unfortunate for him tonight, down in P14, equally for Darryl Ridley. A shame to see him down the tail end of the field, and our only retirement being that of Enzo Cantor. A shame for Enzo, multi-series winner here. Not having a performance he'd like to remember tonight. Now we've got a few in the commentary booth, in the green room. I'm just trying to see. We'll take him in finishing order, and I'll bring up Mr. Hendrickson for a chat first of all. Hello, Mr. Hendrickson. Hello. Alex McKellar here in the top split commentary booth here, mate. What a race! That was quite a performance, you guys, and quite a show you guys put on for us here tonight. Tell us, what was it like from the cockpit's perspective?
Well, that was a very intense race. I'm pretty happy with how I did, and a few iffy moments with some checkups, but other than that, it was very fun.
Yeah, mate, you, Bill Fraser and Dennis Johansson going toe-to-toe all the way through to the end, mate. It looked like a stellar race from where we stood. It looked to be fairly clean and racy at the same time. Plenty of action on track and off. Did you catch any of the incidents, or was it all sort of in your mirrors?
Nah, I saw people fall back in my relative, but I didn't really see what happened. Yeah. Saw Enzo's moment.
Yeah, there was a bit going on with Enzo there. He's down in the green room. We might bring him up and see what happened from his perspective. Although his counterparts there as well, mate. But the flying the blue and orange famously here tonight, mate.
Of course.
That certainly puts you in a good position at the end of week 2. You're looking forward to running a few more races this season?
Oh, definitely, especially as I'm on summer holiday. So I should be able to do quite a lot of Monday Night Lights this season.
Yeah, that's fantastic, mate. Glad to hear it. But fantastic display tonight. Thank you for your support for the series, and looking forward to you coming and bagging some great racing, but also some great points at the same time in the future weeks, mate.
I cannot wait.
Excellent. Thanks, Tim. We'll catch you next time.
See ya.
There you have it, folks. Quite an excited Tim Hendrickson, and I don't blame him, Tim. It was quite a race they put on for us tonight.
Yeah, it was an unbelievable result. I know he talked about the checkups, and we did see that one checkup where he tapped the back of Dennis Johansson, who had the slight damage. But no, look, great racing, especially from Tim, and he'll be really happy with that result.
Yeah, absolutely he will. Speaking of... probably not happy with his result. We might bring up Ben, who was next in our finishing order, and only just, because it was a fair way down. But Ben Snell, well, mate, perhaps the race started out brilliantly, but didn't end up where you might have expected, mate. How was it out for you there, out on track for you there tonight, mate?
Good evening, guys. Yeah, it was good fun apart from the last lap.
What happened on the last lap? I didn't quite catch the incident. Might see if while you're describing it, I can go back and find it. See what the people at home thought.
Oh, I just went through the last quarter a little bit too hot, got on the grass, and instead of rolling out like I should, I went, I'll keep it nailed so I don't lose time, and ended up spinning it sideways into the wall.
Oh damn! I'm hoping to catch it here on replay as we're coming into the final section there. That I mean, you had that moment with Enzo in the earlier stages of the race. Looked like what I saw, he hit the inside curb and maybe bounced out and came in. It looked like he left a bit of space. Was that how you felt about it?
Yeah, I was just chatting with him, then he apologised to me, and yeah, it was basically I saw him duck down the inside, and I left it wide so he'd have room to go through because I just wanted to sit at the back of the pack, to be perfectly honest. But yeah, unfortunately, he clipped the curb and he just bounced out into me. And luckily, I didn't get any damage from it, but it ended his race.
Yeah, that's it. That's that. Oh, look, it's nice when someone can own up to or fess up to it when they've had a moment, mate. And Enzo, as he's shown previously, has not been shy in doing that. So, or just catching the nice. Almost reverse pit entry that you put on there on the tail end. I think it was on lap 16, mate. That's a shame because you were certainly in the running for a top 5 there, mate. But hopefully bigger and better things for you to come going forward. And we look forward to seeing more of your efforts on track next week, mate.
I'll be around. I'm always around.
Excellent. Fantastic, mate. Look forward to seeing you then. Thanks again for joining us.
Thanks for hosting.
There you have it. We might just bring up Enzo to grab his perspective on things, but it sounds like he kind of saw it similar to how we did, Tim.
Yeah, interesting, and look, that's it's good to see that that's exactly the way it was, and it's a bit of a shame for Ben that last the last corner going wide. He was having a really good race apart from the few incidents, and it is a real shame to see him down in ended up P12.
Yeah, it was a real shame, but let's see what Enzo's what his thoughts on the event were. Mr. Cantor, Alex McKellar, and Tim Awima here in the top split commentary booth, mate. Well, it's kind of a race of what could have been, mate. There was so much action up in front, and just it was hot from top to tail there, mate. But things not going the way you had planned by the looks.
Hi guys. No, obviously race finished out of my plans. The problem is the last race I did was the 12-hour of Watkins Glen. Then I completely shut off the sim. And yesterday I did the 2K World Cup without enough practice. Today, half an hour of practice. And I didn't expect at all to be in the first position after the qualifying because I saw the strength of field was very high. So I was very happy and surprised, but I was a lot of pressure on me because I was not used to race with this pressure after a month without racing. So it was not easy at all to manage the race till that point, but I really enjoyed the battle with Bill, with Dennis and Tim. Very clean and hard battle, and I was managing to do that till the last lap. But when I passed the last time Bill, I feel again so much pressure in my brain, and I did a stupid mistakes in turn 3, going out of the road over the grass. Then I saw that there were 5 laps remaining, 4 cars in front of me, and I was not calm. I was a little bit nervous, so I saw that little door opened by Ben Snell, and I thought to put my nose inside, but yeah, you know, I was fast, but I was not perfectly in control with the car because of too poor practice, and I passed over the curb and my line changed, and then I hit Ben. But it was my fault at all because he left me enough room to do the corner side by side, and I could wait for the next straight to make my move. So stupid me, And congratulations to the podium.
Yeah, well said, mate. It takes a big man to admit when he's both under that sort of pressure, and I wondered when you had that off, whether that played on your mind a bit, and obviously it did, mate. But certainly had the pace out there tonight, and it was a great show by you and all the other drivers, and we really appreciate your support, mate. Now, before we let you go, is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to?
Yeah, as always, my team manager Fabio Mantellini, my team Ivano, my teammate Fahim Antoniades, all my sponsors, and yeah, again, congratulations to all the drivers because it was really a fair race, very exciting one, and I hope next time I will feel less the pressure in my brain.
Absolutely, mate. Well, good luck, and we hope to see you back again soon.
See ya, guys. Yeah.
There you go, Tim. Really impressed. Enzo, came up and spoke to us after the race that he had. I was really impressed with the driving standard overall, and in that sort of intensity, it's interesting to hear that some of the best can feel the pressure under the visor as well, mate.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. It's really interesting to hear such a great driver actually say, hear about that pressure, the nerves, and when he hasn't raced well, it does get to him a little bit. And you think to yourself as a driver, way down in the lower splits, and you sort of say, well, that pressure gets to me as well. But knowing that it's getting to these top drivers, it's very interesting.
Yeah, absolutely, it is. Now, I can see one of your cohort and Team Venom waiting for a bit of a chat. I'll bring up Mr. Peck here. Good evening, Les, master content creator extraordinaire. Welcome to the Top Split booth here, mate. Looking forward to hearing your recap of the second split. I've got the results here in front of me. Looks like you managed just outside the top 5, but pleased to see a couple of regulars up the front end with you, mate.
Yeah, that was a really intense race in the second split. There's a pack of 6 of us or 7 of us for about 8 laps. Then unfortunately Brad gave Simon a tap, who were fighting for 3rd and 4th, and that sort of lost us the front pack. But yeah, Simon done a really good job to actually catch us back again and get the 3rd spot. It was really well done by Simon there. But yeah, very intense, very close race, and I was probably overthinking how will I get that 3rd spot, and just ended up staying behind the cars and not making a move at all, really.
Yeah, well, sometimes that's the wisest strategy, mate. I can see you've picked up a nice handful of points and iRating there. And just for the folks at home who keep an eye on the top split, the second split drivers, Simon Dopp, who of course from memory was on the podium overall for the Monday Night Lights season last season. He's grabbed a handy second position. Simon Chambers, who started this season with a win last week, he's, as you say, he's hung on for a nice podium there. Brad Park and another Monday Night Lights regular in P4. Yourself there in P6. Mark Jeffrey, another Team Venom racer in P9. Just seeing that Mick Gray. Tell you what, I was saying only before, when was the last time you saw Mick Gray now under 2,000 iRating? I tell you what, Mick, I've said it often enough in the past, Mick is such a heady racer, a really good guy to learn from in terms of racecraft, and a really good guy to race with. Really strange to see him not only not in the top split, but he's finished all the way down in P14 there. Jason Willman, along with Kevin Henderson, they're fighting tooth and nail for who's had the most Monday Night Lights caps. He's down in P12 just ahead of Mick. But for those of you following the Monday Night Lights season overall, those guys well and truly in the hunt for top honours in this season. And that's what we like to see. We build up this event and this race for the ANZ community as a whole. And those guys turning up and having a race for something a little bit more than iRating and points, but a bit of Monday Night Lights glory, Les. That's what gets you back, isn't it, mate?
I just love racing with those blokes. They're really good. We had really close tight racing tonight. It was great fun. Like you said, it's a shame to see Mick sort of up the back end there too. Didn't qualify the best, and I think he got sort of caught up with the blokes behind us. And Jason Willman didn't qualify at all, which was surprising.
Yeah, Jason has been known to do that. If I'm honest, he hops in races and he won't qualify, and I've seen him do that on a number of occasions just to sort of keep out of trouble. And you know, it's certainly a strategy for those who want to race and race cleanly and sometimes worry about that sort of thing. But you know, it didn't pay off for him tonight because he was. It looks like he's had a tough night anyway. But listen, just want to shout out to you again, mate, for helping us out here at the broadcast with the great intro and outro that you've produced for us, mate. I know it was great to have the theme song back in play tonight, and really grateful for it, mate. And we look forward to seeing you again on track, hopefully, sometime in the future, but also in here giving us your second split recaps, mate. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to before we let you go?
The team Venom boys as always, and yeah, just the blokes in the second split tonight. It was really, really good, clean racing apart from the unfortunate tap. But I think Brad might have let off the accelerator a bit to give Simon that spot as well, which is just the way that our community is. It's good fun racing and great people.
And isn't that just what it's all about? The great people and the good fun racing. We saw plenty of that in the top split tonight, and it sounds like you guys had a ball as well, mate. So thanks again for your ongoing support, and we hope to see you again next week.
Shall do, mate. Shall do.
There you have it, folks. That is what it's all about, Tim. I think, you know, the community coming together, and that's what we do it for here, certainly, at our Monday Night Lights broadcast. Now, of course, transitioning to the top split. Very, very sad news, as I said, on the top split webpage this week to see Bernie Weimer's retiring, Double RTV. I gave him a big shout out last week. He has been a real supporter of the iRacing community in the ANZ club, and has announced that he'll be folding up Double RTV, which is why we've made the transition here to the top split to try and build on that fantastic support that he's given us over the years. Big shout out to Bernie, who's made so much of our coverage here tonight possible with his mentoring and advice over the time, and really sort of laid the foundations for us to continue, as we say. So sad day to see Double RTV going, and all the best to Bernie in what he does in the future, but onwards and upwards for us here, eh, Tim?
Definitely. And it's big shout out to Bernie, and he did a fantastic job. And you are right. The show will go on with the top split, and it'll be good to make it a new home for especially for the MNL. And it's good to see the Skip Barber community really gets behind this event, the broadcast in general, but some good clean racing in this community, and that's what I really like to see.
Yeah, 100% spot on there, mate. That's what I like to see as well. So, look, speaking of the top split and what's going on, Mr. Tim Weimer, the Golden Stig, will we see any Robius TV action on Twitch this week?
You might actually, just having a look at the events that are coming up, I might find myself in either an IMSA race or a VRS race this week. But definitely we'll be back on the shows on Friday night and Saturday night racing.
And that's Robius_TV on Twitch, everyone, if you're looking at. That's right, isn't it, Tim?
That is correct.
Beautiful. Everyone, make sure you check out that over on Twitch. Equally on Twitch, you've got the Top Split TV, which is where I do my own racing and highlight from the cockpit view. If you would like to join us there, I'll be there on Friday night. And once again on Saturday. This week, Saturday, folks. Big event. It's the culmination of nearly 6 months worth of racing with the Bathurst 300. We'll be racing with the Friday Night Race Club, the Bathurst 300 on Saturday night, ironically. We will be drawing the car that we will be racing live on the Top Split Twitch channel on Friday night in between races 4 and 5. And then backing up on Saturday night for 50 laps of Bathurst in the car drawn out of the track, which will be one of the cars we race this season. Tim, what's your bet? Which car would you like to see drawn out, mate?
Oh, geez, there's a big list of cars, but I'm going to have to. I just want to see a GTE. I think I'd really love the GTEs around Bathurst.
Yeah, look, the GTEs are a great car and a great combo too. Fantastic, mate. I'm looking forward to that. And you can catch it all on Top Split TV. I imagine on Robius TV as well. So plenty of all your bases covered. And you know what? I have an inkling that there might even be a special double RTV broadcast. So all your bases covered, and we're looking forward to that as well. But for now, folks, that brings our broadcast tonight to a close. And on behalf of Mr. Tim Awema, the Golden Stig, and myself, Alex McKellar, I will wish you good night. Thank you for your support, and ciao for now.